an undertow. You're drowning everything in me. The way she moves, the way she knows everything I need. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. I fall down, but only 'cause I'm wasted. And I'm so down with everything she's taken. It's like the more you break me, the more I like to take. Oh. Round and round, it's all a show. I'm the one that's being used. The scars are just the afterglow of living on a fuse. This night, she shines like diamonds. So fine, so high, so low. I'm down, but only 'cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taken. It's like the more you break me, the more I like to. I fall down only 'cause I'm wasted. I'm so down with everything she's taken. Like the more that you break me, the more I like to take.
We're on now. Is that it?
Yes,
Oh,
that
good evening,
camera.
everybody, and welcome to the Business Power Hour with the two knuckleheads, Darren and the Music Man. Knucklehead 2, Knucklehead 1.
Oh, I'm number one.
Oh, you're
I'm
number one. Your name goes
knucklehead.
first.
Well,
so that's
good
it.
evening there, Mr. Music Man.
Hey, how are you? How's everybody out
as
there
you
today?
see, we have problems with him and where he's got to look and stuff like that. So we got to constantly give him
Who's
direction. You.
Why do I have to look?
How are you today, sir?
It's raining out.
It's lightly
That's because you
raining.
opened your mouth last
Right,
week.
yeah,
and
it's
how
because
beautiful it is.
exactly,
So now
exactly.
it sucks. It's
I
raining
did.
like crazy.
Well, it's not raining like crazy.
Pouring
It's
outside.
slightly. First of all, it didn't start raining until half an hour,
Does it
45
matter?
minutes
It's,
ago.
okay, so
It's
we're on
light
the show.
rain. There's no heavy
Oh,
rain.
really,
It's
really?
not like
It's
it's
so
starting.
annoying.
Jim, back me up here.
I think there's a monsoon out there.
So I rest my case. I rest my case.
All right, so I'm not going to win this
lucky you,
argument,
Mr.
right?
Dimples. All right. We have a nice guest tonight.
We do have a very
Actually,
good
she's
guest
very
tonight.
professional.
Very professional. Actually, it's a
Unlike
friend of
us
both of
dudes.
ours.
Yes, as a matter of fact.
Right? We both know. Actually,
Yes.
you've
I've
known her longer.
I've known
You've
her a bit
but
longer.
I also
And
know
I'm
her from my
husband.
Little Tip group. She's
Yes,
in
and
my
I know
Little
her
Tip
from
group.
her husband too.
So
who's got a
hi,
great
Sunrise
business.
Little Tip. If you guys are watching tonight, say hi.
Hi. Why don't you call in?
Yeah,
Because I
call
don't
in.
really believe you belong to the tip. I just think that
you think I don't believe I belong to Latip?
No, I don't.
All
I
right.
haven't met one person outside of Zehava
Oh.
who I know who.
But do you
says
think
that
Zehava would lie about something like that?
Zehava wouldn't lie about anything?
Okay, so
But I'm not
she's
asking
telling
her.
you that I'm part
No,
of your
I'm not
tip.
asking her. I want somebody to call.
She has told
from
you
the
that.
tip group, all 80 people that can verify that you were there this morning and that you're a member.
Okay.
Now, in order to reach us, what number do they call?
They got to call 631-415
Right.
1365.
Why don't you repeat it again?
That's
so they
631
Right.
415 1365.
Okay, do you hear the phone ringing?
No,
Nobody.
nobody.
You don't show up.
Listen,
You're
my
a-
Latip
you're a
family
nothing
is
there.
going to call in
Yeah,
and they're
okay.
going to back me up.
Well, there is a person here who claims that she belongs to Latip, and I
Well,
kind of believe
no,
her.
she does
No,
belong
she
to
does. So
Latip.
why don't we introduce her? Go ahead,
Okay, you
introduce
know,
her.
we
right.
talked about this.
We have an attorney with us this evening who is a very special attorney. Even though she does corporate work and she does general law, her specialty is the seniors. It's elder care or law. It's something that everybody needs, no matter what your age is. You need to look into. Obviously, you
and
don't
this
need,
guy over here was trying to get some free legal advice before the show, right,
I was
Jim?
just asking a simple question.
Yeah.
Did I say, I just asked
Hi,
a question.
Zehava. How
Hi,
are you?
good
Welcome
Say
to
hello
the
to
Good
show.
everyone.
evening,
What a nice
Darren and
smile she
Norm.
has.
Yeah.
Look at her. She got little dimples there, too.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm so
nice.
happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you.
Nice,
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
We're
But I
happy to
have to
you.
say that estate planning is not just for seniors. It's for every
Exactly,
adult.
which what I
Yes.
said.
For
yeah.
every adult.
You need
We all
to
got to start sooner than later.
Right, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. And when you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. Benjamin Franklin said that.
That's right. That's
So-
Look
right.
where he wound up.
Pretty
I think
successful guy.
he lived a very
electrocuted.
long
He
life.
He
lived a
hung up
very
the
long-
key at the full.
Right.
He did a lot
The
of
kite and
He didn't get electrocuted.
he melted
I don't know, but
Melted.
if you look at the difference
with
between
Nathan Hale over there in the corner.
if you look at the difference between Aretha Franklin
Right.
and John McCain and how they prepared for their end of life, you couldn't find more of a
Okay, let's see the
disparity.
relationship here.
All right.
What does John McCain have to do with Aretha Franklin?
Well,
Yo,
and the
baby.
preparation. So
Yeah,
let's talk
so
about that.
so they both passed around the same time. They were very well-known people, had a lot of money, and one prepared, one didn't. Do you know which one prepared?
Aretha.
I would tend
No.
to think
John
You
McCain.
said-
John McCain prepared everything down to his eulogy, his final
And who he
burial,
wanted there and who he
he
didn't want
wanted there,
there.
whom he didn't. Everything
Your
was
friend
done.
he didn't
And
have,
you
though.
know, when you prepare for end of life, whenever that may be, and we don't know when that will be,
Right.
you're really doing a kindness to your family and to those you leave behind. Because Aretha Franklin left many, many millions of dollars, and now all of her
Family's
family
fighting like
is
crazy.
fighting over
The
it.
Jacksons too.
And you know what? You know who wins when the family fights?
Attorneys.
The attorneys. That's
Well,
right.
don't they always win? Divorce attorneys.
No,
you know,
actually, the more I practice, I'm an attorney 29 years already. Wow. The more years I practice, I find that the best results are those which the parties, the people involved, the families agree to. Because when you fight it out in the courts, the judge decides, and usually nobody wins. Everyone loses a little bit. So I say to families, work it out together, keep your money, don't pay the attorneys, and then you can go and do
Okay,
whatever you want
question.
afterwards. Yeah.
Roughly what age would you say that someone should start looking into certain things? Let's go over the items that are important.
Okay.
And, let's start off with, is 40 too late?
Well, first let's do the basic documents, if that's
Okay,
okay,
let's do
because I want to talk about the ages as we go there.
So everybody
Jim,
pay attention.
Jim?
Now, you should be
Jim,
writing this
right.
down.
So
Okay,
there's three.
so-
you said there's three basic documents.
three
that we
basic
need
documents that
for
every
estate
adult
planning,
should have. Now, do you know what the age of majority is when you become an adult in New York State?
18.
18. That is correct. So, Norm,
Woohoo,
do you
I got
have
a
any?
point.
Norm, do you have any adult children?
I have 3 of them.
Okay, so from until the age of 18, if something happens and they're not able to make their own healthcare decisions, you, the parent, make the decisions
Right.
for that child.
Correct.
But once that child, that adult child, reaches the age of 18 or over, you have no say anymore.
Understood.
You can't even get their records. And the doctors aren't going to ask you because the doctors are afraid of getting sued. So they're going to intervene and do as many procedures as necessary in order not to get sued for malpractice. So you ask me what the age is. So when my adult children turned 18, I said time for a healthcare proxy.
Healthcare proxy.
Right.
So what is a healthcare proxy?
Okay, so in New York State, every state is different, but in New York State, a healthcare proxy is a document which allows each adult, meaning a person over the age of 18, to designate, number one, an agent, someone to make decisions if you're not able to. So let's take a step back. Today, Norm and Darren and Jim, you're well, you are able to communicate. I'm not talking about a physical disability. I'm talking about a mental disability or an inability to communicate. Right. You tell the doctor, I want this procedure. I don't want to go to that hospital. I don't want these drugs. That's fine. No one can make a decision. Norm, are you married?
Yes.
Your wife can't make a different decision than you want then. If you say, I want this or I don't want this, and your wife cannot say, no,
That's
I disagree.
if I'm coherent, then I have
if
my
you're
faculties.
coherent, right.
Right.
But if you cannot make that decision, as I said, the doctor and the hospital make that decision. So that is the first really important thing.
Unless I have a piece of paper.
Unless you have the healthcare proxy,
Exactly.
yes. The healthcare proxy allows you to name the agent. Another thing the healthcare proxy allows you to do is to give your agent the ability to get all of your records and your bills. I don't know about you, but even today I received a bill from a regular doctor's appointment and it was wrong. And I'm appealing that bill. And so I call the health insurance company and say, I think this is wrong. And if I'm not able to do so and I don't have an agent, there is no one who can do that.
Well, it's funny because most people that have health insurance don't even double check the bills because they pay their copay and the insurance company is paying everything else. So they don't have to worry about it for the most part.
That's if you're lucky.
Right.
That's
It
if you're
depends on
lucky and you
your
have a
insurance.
great plan.
And in this day and age, a lot of people are now getting these plans where they have to pay a lot of money out of pocket.
That's correct. Where
And
the deductible is very
How
high.
do they know if a bill is wrong?
Well, I think
You
that
don't really know.
You don't really know, but in any case, if you're not able to make that call yourself and you don't have an agent, there's nothing you can do. So the agent has a lot of powers. The other thing is
Here's
yeah.
a question, because this is something that everybody is afraid of too.
Right.
Is if I'm somebody's healthcare, say I'm Norm's healthcare proxy.
You're not. No, the proxy is the document. You're the
Right.
healthcare agent.
Okay, I'm the healthcare agent.
Right.
Okay.
I know your terminology. Okay.
I'm learning, but I did get a point before because I was correct on the
I've got
question.
1 point for
Yeah, but so I'm Norm's agent.
Right.
So people are always worried about liability. So now I'm getting his bills. Am I liable for his bills?
No, a Norm is still liable for his own bills, and
even after death, right?
well,
It goes-
after
it goes-
death, if there are assets in your estate, we're going to get to that. We're getting ahead. Then we'll deal with that and what your executor would deal with. But I just want to deal with the issue of bills. The ability of the agent to obtain the bills doesn't mean that the agent has to pay the bills.
Right, so that's very
But at
important.
least you can obtain the bills. You can obtain the records. Very important. What if you need to see what if Norm needs to see a specialist? I'm going to pick on you, Norm. If Norm needs to see a specialist, and
I
you
was
need
there,
to get
so I don't
the
know what to
records
pick on.
to bring from an
Right. And I
internist
don't
to
know
bring
if
to
you
a
remember-
specialist, you can't get it.
If you remember, Zehava, last summer we almost lost him.
Yeah.
He was out, almost 16 weeks. You
I
didn't
was
do the
out
show.
16 weeks. Then I
16
was
weeks.
home another 6 weeks.
And you
Yeah.
look great today.
Thank you.
Yeah, he does.
This is my
he
new
does
life.
look fantastic.
Very
So
good.
he left me alone for 16 weeks, all by
Made you a better
myself doing
person.
this show.
Made you much better.
Well, it made me. I
you got
gotta
your couple
say.
of clients along the way too, so
Yeah, you did.
it's pretty good.
You're a good guy.
So one other thing I want to say about the healthcare proxy, and then we can move on, is for many of us who have specific wishes, whether we want to be cremated, or if we want organ donation, or if we want burial, or a certain way of the burial, this is the place to put it. You don't put it in a will, which needs to be probated, and we'll talk about that.
Right.
You put it in your healthcare proxy. If I'm going to donate an organ or whatever is needed, how much time do you think the doctors have to harvest my organs?
Not a lot of time.
Maybe an hour.
Maybe some organs, maybe 2 hours, 3 hours. I'm not a physician, I don't know, but not a lot of time. That has to go into the healthcare proxy. If I want to be cremated, if I want to be buried, where I want to be buried. My children won't know where I want to be buried.
Where are these healthcare proxies recorded? Are they recorded at the state level where the hospitals have access to them?
They're not recorded. You and your agent would
You
have
to
them.
hold a copy.
Right.
But more than holding a copy, when you go to your doctor, give your doctor a copy. When you go to a hospital for a procedure or an operation, give the hospital a copy. And that way, it's not a secret document, and it should be readily available.
Okay, so it makes sure that if you're going to go into the hospital, we talked about it a couple of weeks ago. I was in a hospital,
Right.
and I don't have a healthcare proxy. And the person I was with, all right, she, basically they just assumed we were married. We're not, and they just let her answer all the questions.
They screwed up a
talked to
lot.
her.
That's
there.
pretty
Right.
amazing because
They didn't-
there's amazing liability there.
They didn't even ask if we were married or anything like that. They just assumed.
So if a hospital administrator or doctor is watching, I would say you should check to make sure, first of all, is there a healthcare proxy? And second, who is the person giving the information?
Right. And that was the
because
thing.
there's a lot
They
of
were like,
liability.
they came out with the cart and said, okay, we need your insurance. And I was bent over in pain so bad, I just handed my wallet to her.
Wow.
And then she took my health care, my insurance card out and all the other stuff and just handed it to them.
You've brought up a really good point, Darren, about people who are not necessarily married.
Mm-hmm.
You're very fortunate you had somebody with you. A lot of clients come to me, they don't have anyone. They don't have a significant other or a spouse or a child or a family member, and what do they do? Right. And I think if any of your viewers are in that position, you really need to make your plan. You need to have a good friend.
You need an advocate.
You need an advocate.
right?
You need to have somebody in your
that-
corner,
and that
because
goes-
doctors look and see, the nurses look and see, is anyone visiting you? Those people
Right.
get more attention.
And we just had a guest on a couple of weeks ago.
Which we're gonna introduce you to because you and her could hook up.
Eileen,
Karina.
right? Where that's what she's a patient advocate.
She's a national renowned patient advocate who is out here in Long Island. She's a good friend of the
As a
two
matter of fact,
us.
Eileen watching tonight. Hi, Eileen.
Hi, Eileen. Why don't you
that-
call in and say hello to
Yeah.
Zehava?
Jim, can you do the healthcare proxy page?
It's actually on here.
It's
on
not
the TV
coming up.
screen.
It's on the TV.
Oh, it is on the TV
Yeah, that's
screen.
gonna
Okay,
stay
great.
the
Sorry.
way it is so
All
people
right.
can-
I'm
can
sorry.
get you.
Yeah.
So, Eileen, if you're listening, call up and say hello.
She's hammering out questions.
Is
Eileen is hammering out
okay,
questions.
so
Okay.
let's ask
Right.
a question that Eileen sent in.
All right, so Eileen said the patient came in today, wants pain meds to help with pain and dizziness. He asked if he falls because doctor does not give meds, is the doctor responsible?
Oh my gosh. Okay, I am not a medical malpractice attorney. What I would say is if the patient is mentally well, cognitively well, and is able to request medication, and if the hospital or the doctor is not responsive to that request, and that request is reasonable, then if something happens later on and the patient sues, the doctor or hospital better have a good reason for why they're not providing that medication. And you bring up an important issue, because even in a do not resuscitate order, which is in the healthcare proxy, which I think Jim has up,
Right.
about do you want to be resuscitated or not. Most, at least all of my healthcare proxies with a do not resuscitate order have a line in there that says, despite this, I want to be medicated. I don't want to suffer more than necessary.
Right.
So suffering and having pain is not
So
It's
so
not
basically
something that
what you're
most people
saying-
want.
Because I would think that a do not resuscitate would mean that if they can't do anything for me. That's
exactly.
basically
If
what
you're
that
in a
says.
coma and you've been in this coma
Right,
now
but what she's
for a
saying is
month
that
or
they
two.
can medicate so you're not feeling
so you're not
pain.
feeling pain. Oftentimes in hospice they will do that.
Well,
in
it also
hospice
depends
situation.
why you're in that coma.
Right.
Were you in a severe car accident?
Right.
Did you have an operation that you just didn't wake up for? I mean, when I was in the hospital, I had all kinds of pain medicines, whatever. I was,
Oh, yeah,
if you
there's-
remember,
there was a
I
couple
was
of-
hallucinating. I mean,
Yes.
they almost had to tie me down because
Wow.
it was like crazy.
There was a couple of times where I went up to see him. He didn't even know I was there.
So there's also
There
a
was
point
that.
where it's too much. They give you too much of this stuff just to shut you up and keep you quiet, so
Right.
they can go and take care of somebody else.
Right. Well, that's also where, as we were talking about before, an advocate is in a very important situation, role of advocating on your behalf. And when things go too awry, saying to the doctor, I think there's too much medication
You
here.
definitely have to meet her. There's no question.
Okay.
You guys
But I
gotta-
just want to say
and Eileen has she has a not-for-profit that
Okay,
does
great,
this,
great.
and they're actually having training, and we talked about this on the show, May 17th. So Eileen, I got you a shout out for that. But we're going to get into the next
Okay.
segment, but first, before we do that, you mentioned something to me, right? When you walked in, what was one of the first things you said to me, other than "Hello, beautiful"?
I didn't say beautiful. I did say hello. I said,
You did say
"How
hello,
are you?"
and then what
Yes.
did you say? You looked at me, and what did you say?
I don't remember. I'm too old. Oh, you got a new shirt?
Yeah.
Oh, Big Frog.
Big
That's
Frog,
what it
right?
was.
Now you said,
Oh,
wow, that's a
ribbit.
nice new shirt you
Ribbit.
got.
Ribbit.
Right. Our friends over at Big Frog,
Yeah, it
Roland
is.
and,
Really
and
nice.
Debbie and
Nice
that,
textured
they
shirt.
took care of that. And even the color.
Yeah, it's
See, the thing
beautiful.
is,
Looks very similar to...
very similar to what we, well, that's
actually,
because
if
Big Frog
we
did
could
that
take
for
a
us,
picture
too.
and put you right here.
That's
in
it.
that
We can
new
do
shirt.
that, right? Yeah, we can do that. Hey, Roland, we got to make changes. You know, so our friends over at Big Frog in Selden, all right, the information's up there. Give them a call today. They
Tell
do
them
great
the Music
work.
Man and Darren sent you.
Yeah, tell them the Music Man. And hey, our friends over at Big Frog's actually going to be setting up a store where you can buy the Business Power Hour apparel. That's going to be coming soon.
Shirts and hats and cups and pens and this
all
and
kinds
that
of
and
fun
all kinds of
stuff.
things, yeah.
So, with that said, we're going to go to a commercial break. We'll be back in just a minute. Right, Jim? Right, Jim?
Right, Jim? Hang with us, bud.
Hang with us, bud.
Make this a different
You know
week.
what it
no
is?
mistakes.
This-
Looking to expand your business and gain valuable knowledge from leading business professionals? You're invited to attend the Boom Business Expo on Thursday, May 16th at the Huntington Hilton between 3 p.m. and 8 p.m. Sponsored by PSEG Long Island, Investors Bank, Verizon Fios, Maya Monitoring, and HSBC. The Boom Business Expo will feature 100 business exhibitors, 50 business organizations, 25 executive speakers, and more. To exhibit your business and register to attend, visit boombiznet.com. The Boom Business Expo on Thursday, May 16th, where Long Island business will boom.
This is Oliver
Sir!
and his girlfriend Emily.
Come on!
No, forget it. I can't. When the world lost a beloved comedian, it was hit hard. Oliver was hit very differently. Good morning! Hey! Oh, that's pretty, dear. Oliver thought that perhaps he was losing his mind.
That's okay.
What the?
Ask him what he wants.
I can work here. We can rehearse here. We can get crazy. Yeah, come on.
Coming soon.
What's up, my brother from a broken rubber? How you doing? Okay. That's not funny. Did I ever tell you about Tanya Harding? Yes. Didn't she put the limp in the Olympics? Thank you. It's like flying.
Some people say it's miraculous.
So incredible.
Thank you.
You're just...
Singing in the rain. Wow. Thank you.
Some people claim they could actually feel Robin's presence in the
We
room.
must join hands and then close our eyes.
Oh, wow.
Other people say it's a hoax.
I'm not Robin Williams, okay?
Oh, my God.
Is it possible? Or is Oliver crazy?
That's enough. I need to talk to Oliver.
I love you!
I feel like Robin is having experiences through me.
Hello, India.
Coming soon. Ooh, that was a good one, dear.
And welcome back to the Business Power Hour with Darren and the Music Man. I am Darren.
I am the
Music
music man.
And we're here with Zehava Schechter. Zehava,
Yes.
you are giving us tremendous amount of great information. And we're getting great response from it.
Yeah,
from
phones
our and
messages,
Brian, we got to give a
right?
shout out to Brian. Brian watching. Brian Cohen is always watching our show. We got to give him a big shout out. But Zehava,
He's number one fan. He's the fan club.
He's the fan club.
He's the president.
He
You have loyalty.
He sleeps on our shirt. As a matter of fact, you're going to be getting a shirt before you leave today.
Oh, I can't wait.
You're going to
Ooh.
be getting the Business Power shirt. But how
Excited.
do people get a hold of you if they want to talk to you about this stuff?
Well, one thing they could do is come to the LaTip meeting that Darren and I attend every Wednesday morning
Right, so-
at 7 a.m. If you'd like to
Okay.
come as either Darren's
Darren-
guest or mine.
When was the last time Darren was there?
He was there this morning.
He was.
I even spoke
Was
with
he there
him.
last week?
Yes.
I don't
think
know.
so.
Yeah, no.
I don't recall.
No, there's
I'm an
nobody-
officer of the court.
Listen,
I can't
LaTip
lie.
family, I need you to call
Now,
in and
one
help us
person
out
from
here.
LaTip is-
I bet they're all watching and they're just
Yeah, they're
learning.
too busy. Their cell phones don't work.
631-415-1365. Give us a call. Come
Yeah.
So what's your
They're just
phone
being
number? How
quiet.
do
So
they
my
reach you?
phone number, I'm in Nassau, but I'm actually all over. I go into Suffolk, into the boroughs, upstate, 516-292-1550. I don't call myself.
What's
so I have
that
to think
number
of
again, since you screwed it up?
516-292-1550, or you can email me at Schechter Law. I think it's up here, Jim.
Yes, it is.
SchechterLaw@gmail.com. And you can also look at my website. Is my website there?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. You can learn all about me.
There you
That's
go.
it.
And more than you want. And if you contact me, I will send you this brochure, which
Free of
gives you
charge.
free of charge lots of very helpful
long as
information,
they enclose the
including
self-addressed
free
stamped
stuff.
envelope.
Free
Right.
stuff you can do that you don't need a lawyer to do. We're going to touch on it, but I know you'll
Well,
all be
let's
interested
jump and
in that.
touch on it
Let's
because
jump and touch on it.
it's
Right?
half an hour.
So we
Next is
talked.
gonna
We
go
talked
fast.
about the healthcare proxy,
Yes.
right?
Yes, we did.
Now, the power of attorney. What
Right.
does that give people?
Okay. So,
Right.
Jim, do you have that up? Okay, great. So, the power of attorney, unlike the healthcare proxy, where if you can make your own decisions, no one else can make it for you, that's not the power of attorney. If today, Norm, you name me your agent under the power of attorney, I can go sell your house, empty
Absolutely.
all your bank accounts. I basically act as if I'm you.
Right.
Now, granted, I have to do that with your best interests in mind. Okay, but that means I'm a fiduciary. I'm
you're
a
supposed
fiduciary.
to do it.
I'm supposed to do it.
You're
Not
supposed to.
everyone does, so you've got to be really careful about whom you
Can
nominate.
you put limits on the top of type of powers that they have?
Not really,
It's
because
either
if,
they're a power of attorney or they're not.
either they're an agent under the power of attorney or not. But everyone needs that, because while the healthcare proxy is only about healthcare, power of attorney is about everything else: selling a house, going to the bank, dealing with the IRS, Social Security, New York
Well, it
State.
depends whom you're giving it to. If you give it to your attorney or make them power of attorney, they have power over the legal matters. They can do other things too, but intentionally, they're supposed to handle your legal matters best to their ability for you.
Well, actually,
With
legal
your
and financial,
accountant.
correct?
Correct, legal and financial.
But
Well,
your
there are
accountant-
boxes.
See,
Yes.
okay,
Handles
I got
your
another
accounting.
question, right? That's two.
Go.
Okay.
You got two
But
You're the bomb.
I just want to say it's very important whom you name as an agent. Number one, you want to name someone who is nearby in case that person needs to help you. I wouldn't recommend naming somebody out in California unless that person is going to be traveling back and forth a
Right.
lot. You also want to name someone who has some time, because if someone is traveling all over the world or busy with a family.
So if you have family members that are not living close to you, you really shouldn't name them as power of attorney. You
Well,
really should find
you may not have a choice,
Right.
but if you have options. The other thing is, for the power of attorney, if you know someone who is not good with numbers and can't keep a checkbook,
Right.
don't name that person.
You also need someone, and this is going to sound silly, who really cares. Not just to take over and to handle things, but you need somebody who really cares about what they're doing.
I think you need someone who cares for everything you do in
Well,
life.
yeah, but
If
specifically
you're
for something
fortunate
like
to have.
this.
Well, you need someone to trust, someone who's not
Yeah,
going to
yeah,
abscond
yes.
with all of your money.
Yes.
And so now, do the limit in time. I think we'll go to the will. What do you
Right,
think,
yeah,
Darren?
I
Is
think
that
we should
okay?
jump right over
so
this,
if the
obviously.
healthcare proxy and the power of attorney are only valid while you're alive, so the moment you die, right, Darren's going to be your agent, Norman, and you pass after 120 years, Darren no longer has any power. That's when the last will and testament comes in. And that's why we call it a last will and testament, because you can make a will today, tomorrow, the next day. The valid one is the last
Well,
one.
let me ask you this, because I hear all these horror stories about people that made a will when they were 30 and they never updated it.
Okay, the will is still good.
Right.
It's probably old. People have predeceased, and anytime there's a life event, you should redo your will. I've redone my will many times.
So what do you consider a life event where you really should readdress your will?
Someone dies, someone gets married, someone has a baby, you're not
Someone
talking
gets
to
divorced?
someone, divorce, definitely,
You come
divorce.
into
And
monies that you want to give to certain people.
exactly, you have a certain bequest, a ring, or a book, or whatever it is. What percentage of American adults do you think have done their estate planning and have wills?
Oh,
and
very
all these-
little.
What percentage do you think?
5.
15.
40%. 4 out of 10.
I guess I wasn't close.
I was closer.
4 out of 10.
Nowhere near.
4
you're
out
a
of 10 have
business
done.
consultant.
4 out of 10 have done. That means 6 out of 10 have not prepared, are not prepared. And what do you think the reasons are that people don't want to make a will?
Because they don't want to die.
Exactly.
Yeah, they
but
don't
you
wanna
know
die.
what? We're all going to die.
We
There is
got it.
nothing certain in life other than death and taxes. Again,
Absolutely.
Benjamin Franklin. So,
It's
we're
like
all
getting
going
a funeral
to.
plot.
Exactly, and actually,
Yeah.
that's something that I talk to clients about, and we're going to talk about that in the next segment, pre-planning. But
That's very
the
big now.
issue, it's very important. But in terms of the will, people say, oh, it's so much money. It isn't a lot of money to make a will. Actually, it's more expensive, more time consuming when
have
you
one.
don't have a will.
Right.
And then people are fighting over who should administer the estate, and the courts are very hesitant to just appoint anybody. When you have a will, and in the will I say, I'm appointing Darren to be my executor, my fiduciary to handle my affairs, and he doesn't have to post a bond, and I trust him. More likely than not, the court will say, okay.
So why would somebody have to post a bond to
Okay.
be an executor for a will?
Okay.
Because most people don't even think of that, right? Because there's a lot of financial
They don't even know what a bond is.
Well, most people think of a bond in terms of criminal matters.
Right.
But the idea of the bond is if, let's say, the estate has $1 million and creditors, meaning people to whom the decedent, that's the person who died, people to whom the decedent owed money are not paid, and the fiduciary absconds with the money, the creditor is going to be left holding the bag. So I have to say that in what I'm seeing now in the surrogates courts, those are the courts which have sole jurisdiction over people who are dead. I'm seeing that where there is not a will, the courts are requiring bonds, and that means you're paying a lot of money each year for the security of, if you abscond with the money,
Right.
the bond company will pay the creditors and your beneficiaries. Chances are, if you go through a probate proceeding, I'm using a lot of technical words, but
Right.
probate meaning, there is a will, and the will is accepted by the court, and the will says no bond is required, usually the court does not require.
Recently, within the last 2 years, I had a friend of mine whose father passed away, and he was, the mother deceased him, and he had a will, but it took over a year to probate it.
I don't understand why. Was there something very complicated?
No, not at all.
Was there a fight between the
Nope.
family, among the family?
No, not at all.
So I don't know that specific issue.
And it
I'm
was a different
probating
state.
quickly.
It was a different state.
What's normal time?
It really depends. We know people in common. I'm not allowed to divulge my clients. From the time of filing until the time I get an order could be anywhere between a week and 3 weeks. That's where there's a will.
Really? Okay.
But where there's not a will, I'm waiting months. I'm not going to name clients
Yeah.
either. I'm waiting many months because the court definitely
Is
looks
this
more
one of you
carefully.
the tip people?
I'm
Fictitious tip
not
people?
allowed to say.
Fictitious lip tip. You see, now the thing is, now you're insulting our lip tip group.
No. I don't.
let them-
Right, Jim?
Let them call and tell me
Yeah.
that I'm insulting them.
Come on, Sunrise Lip Tip.
Here are some other reasons. So you're picking your executor. So you're
Right.
choosing the person whom you think is trustworthy. If you have minor children, we talked about this, children under the age of 18. Do you know that even though your spouse is the natural guardian, right? And so that person would, your husband and wife would be the natural guardian of your children. What if that spouse predeceases? Who is going to be the guardian of your children?
The first time I did my will, we had 2 young children, and that was a point of contention for both of us, because I wanted certain people and she wanted certain people, and they weren't the same people.
Wow.
So it was something that we had to work out. Eventually she won. That's
surprising.
Well,
we know how that
shocker.
goes.
I'll tell you something even more surprising. You don't have the final say. It's a surrogate. That's the judge, and
Right.
the surrogate decides. So if
even
you want,
even if because our will said we want these people to become the guardians of our children, it still has to go before a judge, and he has to say yes or no.
he or she
I
has to
apologize.
decide. Well, I think they're okay as guardians or not. So the court acts it
Best
has that
interest of the
role,
kids.
best interest of the children. So it's really important in the will to specify, I'm choosing John and Jane for these reasons. They're the same religion. We're very close.
Well, how do
My children-
godfathers and godmothers work in? Do they figure in at all?
No, there's no legal
Got it.
ability,
Yeah,
legal
'cause that's really
responsibility.
just a church
Right.
It's a religious thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
one
a
other thing I want to say for people who are married a second time or have stepchildren or actually half sisters and brothers are considered like whole. But if you have other relationships or you're not married,
Right.
those people do not take it all unless you have a will. Meaning in a will you would say I give to my girlfriend or
Right.
I give to my stepchild or whatever. But if there's no biological blood relationship, those people are not entitled to take,
Right.
even if you love them. And one more thing, there is someone from Latif, I won't say names, who is actually told me that, I won't say the gender, but that person is estranged from parents. And if there's nobody else to take because you don't have a spouse, you don't have children, it's going to go up to the parents.
Oh, really?
So maybe people you don't even like are going to get your money. So it's very important to be prepared. Otherwise, after you're gone, you leave it up to the courts to decide.
All right, so we have a will, and everything is itemized. Whatever. Darren and I are brothers.
Okay.
All right, and we go to court, and we don't like each other.
Yes.
And then, but the will states that Darren gets X and I get Y, and he gets the brand new car and I get the house, but he wants the house, whatever maybe. So what happens there? Does the will overrule everything, or does it get contested?
Well, the will overrules everything except for any joint assets. For example, let's say mom had a bank account in which Darren is a joint owner, not an authorized signatory, but a joint owner of the bank account. That doesn't go through the will. Darren gets that immediately
Because he's on the account.
because he's
Mom
on the
liked me
account
better.
as a joint owner, not for convenience, but as a joint owner. Or let's say, Norm, you own a house with Dad, right? And Dad passes. You own the house together. Darren doesn't get any of that either. That passes outside the will. So there are non-probate assets. There are other. I'll give you another example. Insurance. Do you have life insurance?
Yes.
Do you have life insurance? Okay. How much do you own right now of the life insurance?
Mine
This is a trick question.
Mine
no.
is broken down percentage-wise.
No. How much do you own for your life insurance policy? How much is in your
Well, it's not
estate?
in my name. It's
exactly.
It's
you have
under-
zero.
Right, yeah.
None of the money comes in until you die. So that money is never
It's
yours.
death insurance. It's not life insurance.
That is correct. So as a result,
gotta
let's say
understand that.
let's say Darren is the beneficiary of your life insurance policy. That is not part of your estate, meaning the estate is everything you own or you owe
Right. So-
at the moment you pass. So that is not part of your estate because Darren can't get the money until you die.
The beneficiary that's named on the life
Policy
insurance
is-
policy
is the beneficiary.
is the recipient of the money.
Correct. So let me tell you about a quick case that I have, a quick story, which is the former spouse was named as the beneficiary of the life insurance policy. Then they
Never
divorced, and it never changed. The gentleman remarried, and he died. And the second wife said, "I want that policy." And the insurance company said, "What do you think?" Sorry, the first wife is still named.
Yeah, and she got the money.
So the moral of the story is, if you marry, divorce, whatever your life event, make sure that all of your beneficiary designations are up to date.
And that's part of the last will and testament is making sure that you do all of these things.
Well, it's not part of the will, but it's part of the whole estate
the process,
plan. Yes.
Right? So
the
every
estate
time
plan.
there's a life-changing event, you should be revisiting all of these things.
Absolutely.
Right? So again, how can somebody get a hold of you if they want to talk more about these?
Okay, so
we're driving business for you tonight, young lady.
I appreciate that. Thank you
Okay.
so much. So in addition to coming to LaTip, to a LaTip meeting, you could call me at 516-292-1550 or email me at schechterlaw@gmail.com. I'm happy to send you for free my brochure, which has so much really good information in here about things that you can do right now to jumpstart your own estate plan.
Are there any questions?
right.
Any special questions coming up that we can ask?
No, I mean, I think we covered the will and stuff like that.
Oh,
Actually,
then
it's
let's-
time. It's actually time to take another break.
Break time.
Right. So right before that, Jim, as you're queuing up, where are we going to be on March 7th?
I forget where we're going to
Oh
be.
my God!
Are we
Come
gonna
on,
be
we
at
went
the
through this.
March
beforehand.
7th, that passed already.
March 7th, May 7th.
At the Miller Library?
We're gonna be at
Business Center?
right. We're gonna be at Strictly Business from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
We're gonna have
at
a
the
table
Middle
there?
Country Library in Centereach. We're gonna be there. You'll see this big background. Me and Norm standing out front.
We sign autographs.
We
so
sign
feel free to come
autographs.
down.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll have headshots of Norm to give out. Come down and meet us.
Yep.
And then again on May 16th.
May 16th, we're going to be at the
Boom,
Boom
right.
Business Network
Right.
at the Hilton
B2B.
Hotel on 110. And that runs from 3 to 8 in the evening. And come on down. Last show, they had about 3,000 people walking around, right?
There was a couple
in that
thousand
crazy
people. Yeah.
weather.
Yeah.
Horrible weather, too.
Oh yeah,
And
well,
they
that
showed
was,
up.
the last one. It snowed heavy. I got stuck there.
Yeah, you took you what, an hour to go 1 block?
I
On
actually
110?
on 110. I went from the expressway down to the hotel, which is about 2.5 miles. It took
No,
an
it's
hour.
not. It's not that far.
Well, okay, so it's a mile and a half.
Maybe.
Took me an hour and 10 minutes.
Oh, that'd suck.
It was crazy, but we got down there. We had a lot of fun.
Then May
Anyway.
22nd, right?
And
Is it
May
May
22nd, back at the Miller Business Center, they're going to be talking about podcasts and being on a podcast.
I signed up for that.
And
I'm gonna be there.
Well,
We're
Norm will
gonna
be
be
there.
there, yeah.
I'm not going to be able to be there that day. All right. Well, actually,
People want
if
to
you
be
signed up
on
for that,
podcasts.
you and I could shoot out there together.
Yes.
All right.
We'll leave early.
af-
Shh. Lit
after-
tip members, don't tell.
After our lit tip meeting. All right, Jim, you ready?
Small business owners, are you having trouble growing your business? Do you feel like you're always swimming upstream? Do you feel like daily tension that I can't get ahead and I don't know why? Hi everybody, my name is Darren Sayafi and I'm a business therapist. What's a business therapist? Well, some people call us coaches, some people call us advisors, other people even call us strategists. We take a vested interest in you and your personal development as a person and as a business owner to give you the tools and structure that you need to take it to that next level. So don't wait. Give me a call today for your free consultation and let me show you how you can help yourself.
Hi, this is Darren from the Business Power Hour. Are you associated with a charity or a nonprofit organization that is looking to raise money, but you want to do something different from other charities or something you've never done before? Well, if that's the case, then you need to call our friends at Friend Entertainment USA. Friend Entertainment provides tribute concert events featuring the best tribute talent from all over the USA, saluting stars such as Donna Summer, the Bee Gees, Queen, and many more. Whether you like Motown, rock and roll, R&B, country, Christian, or whatever type of music you like, they will provide you with the best entertainment at a price that is very affordable. In addition to music, they are now offering comedy shows saluting such stars as Robin Williams and Joan Rivers. With over 31 years of experience, Friend Entertainment will teach you how to create a successful show. The first thing you need to do is sit down with them and learn how you and your organization can put together a show that can be done from anywhere in the USA. These events will help you bring needed funds and branding to your organization so you can continue to provide the needed services to your community. No organization is too big or too small. So reach out today. You can call or email Norman at Friend Entertainment USA and let him help your charity or nonprofit create an unforgettable fundraising experience. Call 844-698-9696. That's 844-698-9696, or visit their website at friendentusa.com and ask for the Music Man. Tell him Darren sent you.
Okay, we're back with Zehava Schechter, attorney superior
Thank you.
Superior.
And,
So hey Norm, before we talked about where we're going to be, but we got a question from your friend
who's my
who
friend?
brings tears to your eyes.
Eileen.
Eileen,
I love Eileen.
She wants to know, you got any shows coming up?
As a matter of fact, the show's going crazy today. Yeah, you saw the commercial, everybody, on the Robin Williams show. We're doing it at North Shore Towers on June 29th. And I dropped off the flyers to the building yesterday.
Right.
They dispersed a lot of them today. The phone was nuts.
It was nuts, right?
Today. I mean, I was out all day. When I got home, I
come
had
down,
all these messages.
You can see Norm in his Music Man outfits,
Yeah.
and he'll
That's
give out
worth the-
headshots
that's
and
worth the
sign
price of
for you.
admission.
Right, exactly. But I want to give a shout out to one of my Latip friends, Bruce Howard. Bruce, I know you're watching. You gotta call
You're
in.
so full of crap.
You got. I'm
You're
telling you,
saying-
Bruce
there
is saying good.
There
to
is
know.
no Bruce, and
Yes.
he does. What'd you say? He does solar.
Yes, solar.
So you're vouching for him.
Yeah,
Totally.
Bruce does
No.
solar. Bruce, call in 631
Yeah, Bruce, unless you call, you don't
1365.
And he's an officer. He's on the board.
Yeah, right.
Well,
That's right. He's
you
on tip
better
test.
call now, Bruce.
Come on, Bruce. Let's
Come
go.
on now.
Call in, buddy.
Let's just wait here. I'm gonna watch.
No,
the
we're
clock.
not going to wait here. We're not going to waste any more
Wait, we
time.
got-
Zehava's got so much more to
She
tell
does.
us.
All right, then. Right.
And May 22nd. So,
Okay, so we're going to wrap it up because I see we're
well, no,
running
we're
out
not
of
wrapping
time.
anything.
Oh, we have time? Okay, so
we're going to talk about the miscellaneous matters that
right.
you
So
wanted to bring
here I'm going to give you some very helpful tips. You don't need a lawyer to do these things.
up. Wait a second.
Isn't that shocking?
Wait a
That's a lawyer
second.
telling you. But I so believe in walking the walk. So this is what the first thing I'm going to talk about is long-term care insurance. No, I do not sell it. But I'm telling you, it is a very important part of your estate planning.
It used to be very high. When I was younger and I recently got married,
Yeah.
a lot of companies were selling it, and a lot of people bought it,
Right.
and a lot of people use it.
Yes,
But
many people use it. We're all getting older, and
Nowadays,
we're living longer.
$6,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month.
I just received from MetLife in New York City. It's $12,000 a month. New York City,
you know what? Our
12,000.
friends from Orchard, right? Mm-hmm. You know, they were on
Orchard Estate.
Orchard Estates, which is an assisted
It's a
living
new, and they're
assisted living facility, and they say that
They're a
they run
sponsor
into
of
this
ours,
problem
too.
all the time. We want to give a shout out to them. We're waiting for their
for
commercial.
Doug and
Come on,
Lauren.
guys.
Yep.
Yep, Doug and Lauren. Shout out to you guys. But
So for long-term care insurance, if you're well enough, do it now.
Absolutely.
Because once
And if
you
you're young
have,
enough.
we're young enough, and Darren knows there's someone in our Latip group who unfortunately at a very young age had a heart attack.
Right.
And that is a disqualifying event.
Yeah.
So if you're in your 40s and you think, oh, I can wait till my 70s, no, you can't. And not only that, but as you get older, the premiums get higher. So I can say this because I don't sell long-term care insurance or life insurance, which we'll talk about in a minute. But please go see an insurance agent whom you trust and talk about long-term care insurance. And life insurance is really important too. Term life in particular. I'm a big supporter of term life.
Right, and one of the things I just want to say is don't just go out and buy insurance from anybody. Do your research, because there are so many different policies out there.
Right.
It's like anything. You know, when you go get your car insurance, from Geico or these other guys, sometimes you think you're getting a better deal, but you don't have the same coverage.
Correct.
That's
You
it.
know, so make sure you do your research and you have the coverage that you're going to need.
Here's a great gift also to give a grandchild or to give your own son or daughter. Get them a whole life policy at a very, very
Young
early
age.
age.
Yep.
At, I don't know, 100,000 or whatever. By the time they get to be 18, 25, they're going to have $1 million+ in their account. And that's going to help them out. And the insurance costs next to nothing because they're so young.
Yeah, and that's the
Great
thing.
tool.
Another tool is something called a Totten Trust account, which is you can go to any bank or brokerage and set up an account with your grandchildren
What's it called? Totten Trust?
Totten, Totten.
Okay.
Totten Trust. You can go to any financial advisor or bank and
No one
set
has
up an
ever mentioned
account.
that. You know,
Well,
with the-
did you ever ask me?
No, I'm talking about financial advisors that talk about their products and
Oh.
stuff that they
Well, they
use.
don't make a lot of money on that. That's
But
right.
I've never heard anybody talk about
It's a
that.
great way to leave assets to a grandchild.
That's great.
Okay, so you can ask about that. We already talked about beneficiary designations. Go back on every policy, insurance policy, retirement account, pension, IRA, 401k, every bank account, even a checking account, should have a beneficiary named. And if somebody dies, go back and change
hold on,
it.
wait a second. So you can name a beneficiary for your bank
Yes,
accounts?
you can.
Oh, sure.
I've done that on all my bank accounts, and you should, because when you die, who's going to get that money?
Who's going to get it?
You know, when you have a
co-sign it?
beneficiary
A co-sign.
named, all you need to bring to the bank or the brokerage house is the death certificate for the owner and your ID. You're the named beneficiary, and you get the money. You
Right
don't
there.
have to wait. So
They're not going to lock it up or anything. Well,
No.
like before my mom passed, after my
Right.
dad passed, they had a will, and then my dad passed. So now she redid the will, and that was one of the things that we didn't name a beneficiary on the account, but we brought the will to the bank, and that kind of,
You
allowed
can't
us
bring
to
the will
access
if you
the money.
bring
I'm trying to remember
bring the
what it was.
will to the court for
Right.
probate, then you have to go through a whole court process. What
Yeah.
I'm saying is we're going to short stream the whole process.
just go with the death
You just go with the
So
death
they
certificate
don't
on
even
the
lock
spot.
the account up for a day.
Why would they lock it up? You have a beneficiary named.
Right.
The easiest thing to do. It doesn't cost any
Well,
money.
You know what they do? If,
And you don't need a lawyer to do it.
Oh, but wait! Don't get a safe deposit box.
exactly.
I am.
Because they will lock that
They
up.
they lock that up. I've had clients, even
In a
husband
day.
and wife, and the husband dies, and the wife, who is still an owner of the account, cannot get into the safe deposit box. We have to file a petition in the court. Do not keep your documents, your money,
And
your
get to that
your
bank
jewelry
if you do.
in the safe
Get
deposit.
to the bank and clear out that.
But if you do that, you can't tell them
No,
that the person
no.
died.
That would be kind of silly. Oh, by the way, Mr. Policeman, I shot this person. but-
Exactly. I also want to talk about
Speaking
yeah.
of life insurance,
Yeah.
Mark Rampolla is watching.
Hey, Mark.
Call in, Mark.
This is another so-called member?
He's a member.
I see how the first guy called up.
631-415-1365. We'll let you get a quick commercial in, Mark.
Yeah.
Give us a call. You got to tell this guy over here
Yeah, I'm not gonna
that
believe it.
Arla
It's probably
Tip
your
Group
brother
does
or
exist. It's
cousin.
not my brother or cousin. Would you stop?
Okay, so what's the next thing you want to talk about?
The last thing, and there's a lot to talk about. We can't
Right.
do it all in 1 hour. And by the way, I'm not giving you any legal advice. You really need to, if you have questions, you feel free to contact me afterwards or talk
And
to,
how can they
to another
contact
attorney.
you, Zehava?
Okay, you can call
What a
me.
segue.
Actually, I would prefer that you email me,
getting good at that.
schechterlaw@gmail.com, and or you can call me 516-292-1550. But you need to get competent advice. And what I mean by that is, first, you need to go to an attorney who knows estate planning and administration. Don't go to the neighborhood
So not
attorney
every
who
attorney-
not every attorney knows
A lot of people
what to
don't
do.
understand that attorneys, like doctors, they tend to specialize.
Right. Would you go to an ophthalmologist for a foot problem?
Mm-hmm.
So you go to the attorney who specializes in the area.
Stop. Oh, my God. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Or an orthopedic doctor.
I should also say I also do real estate law and business law. As I said before, I do end up, most estates, a lot of estates have co-ops, condos, houses to sell. So I do real estate. I just want to talk about one last thing, either a prenuptial agreement or a postnuptial agreement. So if you're young and you're getting married and you don't have any assets to begin with, you probably don't need a prenuptial agreement. But what happens if there's a divorce or a death and you have children and then you meet somebody whom you fall in love with who also has children and assets?
What is a post-nuptial agreement?
Okay, so if prenuptial means before you get married.
Before you get married.
Postnuptial is after you get married.
Ah, okay.
And that's much harder to do. So it's always better to do a prenuptial agreement. And what I find is...
I couldn't marry someone that I had to give a pre.
You see,
but here's the
so
thing,
I'm going to
Norm.
share with you that my husband and I are married. We're the second marriage,
Right.
and we have a prenuptial agreement. Hi, honey, if you're watching, and we have nothing to fight over because we each have children from our prior marriages,
Right.
and
But
we
your
each
will
had our
will
own
state
assets.
it.
No, the will is something different. So I'm sharing with you from my own personal experience.
But you have
It is-
financial aspects in your will.
You do not specify in a will on this account. This account is going to go to this person. This account is
But
going
you
to go.
can't you?
Why would you do that?
Well, why can't you do that?
I guess you could, but assets are fluid and they change, whether it's amounts or it's locations.
Understood.
So generally, you do in a will what we call a specific bequest. This ring, that book, my coin collection, something specific, a tangible, something you can touch. Then if you have a house you want to give to somebody or another
Can't
property.
you say that, this account in ABC Bank, will be split between Tommy and Susie.
Yes, you can.
And so that should be okay.
Well, actually, there you would probably just go to the bank and fill out the beneficiary designation form. Okay. But there are issues, I know it's well beyond the confines of this program, called the elective share. Each spouse, there is only one person you cannot disinherit in New York State, and that is your spouse, the spouse to whom you are legally married, not a girlfriend, boyfriend, and it's got to be a legal marriage. There is no common law marriage in New York State. Having said that, if I don't leave anything to my husband Sam in my will, and I don't have a prenup saying we each waive that elective share, he's going to get at least a third of my estate. So what I'm saying is, especially in cases of second marriages or after blended families, it's a great way to ensure you're not going to fight. Everyone is taken care of. There's nothing to argue over. I strongly recommend prenuptial agreements in second and third marriage.
Second and third marriages, yeah.
And even in a
What about
first
fourth
marriage.
ones? What about a fourth one?
Well, if some people delay getting married until their 30s, 40s, and they already have assets, so maybe you don't want to share.
That's common, isn't it?
Yeah, but if you're going to share things with your spouse, you're commingling. I'm not a matrimonial attorney, but you're commingling. That means your spouse gets half of what you've worked hard for.
Right.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I've been there.
But I do believe in marriage. I'm a strong believer in marriage.
I'm a second timer.
Yeah, and so it's good to get the money out of the way, and then you just...
Well, like you said, it eliminates, because a lot of fighting is done.
A lot of fighting is about money.
I got it anyway. The first one got it all, so there's nothing left for the second.
Not love for the second one. Poor Renee.
Any final words? Anything
Yes.
you want to talk?
Yes.
Do
Yes.
any events? Do you do lectures? Or?
I do, and I'm going to give one other thing to say. I have a monthly column in the Herald and in the Beacon every month, Long Island Legal Tip, which is great. And am I giving any other lectures? I'm going to be in a couple of the libraries, Nassau County libraries, coming up soon. And I'm very active in my civic association, so yay, West Hempstead. And I just want to talk about one last thing on my list, which is gifting.
Mm-hmm.
So anyone can give anyone else $15,000 or less per year without any tax consequences. So Norm, feel free, you can give me. My point is, if you have
check at
thank you.
Yeah, sure,
if you
right.
have money, if you're a grandparent and you have money and you want to, build a relationship with your grandchild or help your grandchild with college expenses or graduate
I have
school.
a client that does that for all his
that's a great
grandkids.
way to not only use your money while you're alive. A lot of people say, oh, when I die, the children will get it or the grandchildren will get it. But isn't it beautiful to see while you're alive
absolutely.
the children and grandchildren
They get to use
benefiting
it.
from it?
Right.
So, I would urge you to consider gifting. But not more than $15,000 unless you talk to an accountant to see if that's worthwhile for you.
Yes. And that's the thing, is check with your accountant.
Yes,
before
check
you
with
do
your
it.
accountant on all of these things because only that your accountant and you know your particular financial circumstance.
And everybody is different, so
absolutely,
it's
we don't
not,
want taxable hits.
Right, taxable hits. And
Especially
we're not giving
not
any
now.
out. We're not giving out any tax advice. Let's be
No
clear
tax
on
advice,
that.
no legal advice.
Right.
I'm still waiting for the phone calls.
Yeah, you know what, guys? You're disappointing us,
That's
Bruce.
it.
I'm
come
not
on.
disappointed. They turned in.
We got
Bruce,
we got a minute to go, and you don't.
So,
Yeah, Mark
Jim,
says,
can you
"Sorry,
put
I
up that
can't
last
call.
line
I
with the
can't
two
call."
quotations, which I talked about from Benjamin Franklin? So, waiting is not a good idea. Putting your head in the sand and saying, "Oh, I'm going to be fine, and I don't need to make my plans," that is preparing to fail.
That's it.
Unless you're an aardvark.
Yeah, but when you did your estate planning, didn't you feel
your head in the
relief? Didn't you feel some relief?
Yes.
Like, okay, everything is planned. I
Yes.
don't have
Yep.
to worry about it
You
anymore.
don't have to worry about it anymore. And
It's nice. It's a good feeling when we're
Well,
so
that's-
busy and stressful.
Exactly.
One thing off the list.
That kind of feeling you should get from an attorney, no matter what, or an accountant at any time. You got to trust those people that you know you're in good hands and people are taking care of you.
Yeah.
And I hope you had a good time here.
I did. It was
Yeah.
fun. Thanks for
Good.
having
You
me.
haven't stopped smiling since.
I tell you what, Zehava,
I'm happy to be here.
You were a pleasure to have on the show.
You say that to every guest. I know.
No, we do.
We do.
but-
We do love having all our guests
But you
on
were
the show.
terrific.
Well,
You're
that
much
was
better than I
fun.
thought you were going to be.
Oh my
Wow.
gosh. Okay.
How's that?
Wow.
Thank you for the backhanded compliment.
You know what? But I knew you were going to be good because you told me this morning that you were going to be fun.
You know what? When you're with
At our
friends,
Latif
it's
meeting.
always good.
You told me this morning at our Latif
Because we're friends.
meeting. At our
Exactly.
Latif.
But this
at
is
our
a nice
Latif
setting.
meeting.
It's a
Isn't it?
lovely setting.
It's
I encourage
nice and
everyone to
relaxed.
come down here and say hello to Darren and Norm
Right.
and Jim.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks
On
for
that
having
note,
me.
Do you have anything you want to say before we say goodbye?
Well, I just want to, again, May 7th, this Tuesday, coming Tuesday, we're going to be at the Miller Business Center.
And that's in Selden, right?
Strictly business. No, actually, that's Center Reach. They have 2 libraries in the Middle Country.
Road.
Yeah, but it's not on Middle Country Road. It's off Middle Country Road.
Schoolhouse Road or something, right?
It's Schoolhouse Road in Center Reach. So 9 to 1, you can come down. You can see us. We'll be down there. May 16th, we'll be at Boom. Next week, we're going to have a divorce attorney. Okay, Davey Banis. He's going to be on,
guy.
so we can
You should talk to him about the prenup and the postnup.
We're gonna bring those things up. All right, and again, May 22nd. Okay, Miller Business Center. Zehava will be there. I'll be there. Norm will be there. We'll be there. So you can come down and talk to us.
To seeing you
I want to give a shout out to Michael Panhorst for watching tonight. Hey, Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Hey, Mike.
He's I told you before I was in the Air Force Auxiliary.
Yes.
I know Mike from when he was young. And now he's a full-grown man with married and everything else. I'm very proud to see how he's grown. So he's a good guy.
Very nice.
So shout out. Thanks for watching, Mike. Appreciate that.
Good stuff.
And that's about it. What else you got going on, my friend?
Well, we got the shows coming. I have to put it out there again, and I say it because I really, really appreciate it. We have so many followers now that people it's just really great. It makes us feel really good. We may be taking a second night. We're going to make that decision.
2 nights of us?
Actually, maybe one night. Maybe
one night we'll just do it back to back.
2 guests, 7
to
8, 8 to 9.
We have like 3 dates left this year.
That's it. So
We're
if you're
booked up
interested, and
almost
one of them
all
may
year.
be gone tomorrow, so if you're interested and like to...
you want to come down and hang out with us right here at Rockstar Studios.
And get a T-shirt.
And get a T-shirt.
Yeah.
And one of our T-shirts. Let's just really quickly... this is a shirt you're going to get.
Can't wait.
Uh-huh.
All right. The Business Power Hour. And you guys, Big Frog's they're putting a store up for us. You'll be able to get this.
When's
and
that
all
store
kinds
going to
of
be live?
You know what? I don't have a definitive date yet, but once I do...
Before Christmas?
Before Christmas,
Okay,
yeah.
that's good.
Before
To make
Christmas.
good Christmas.
Well, we're going to try to get up before Father's Day.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know Mother's Day and people don't
But we
want
wish you
outfits
all
and
a very, very good week. Healthy, safe.
Yes.
Have a great week. Enjoy yourselves. Enjoy your families. And we'll see you next week.
See you next week. Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Conversation that all dead. The lines cut off inside my head. I left here like a broken man with no idea of where I stand. Oh, my mind clears. Lord, I shed all my tears. Oh, now baby, I was just waiting here while you moved on. Security, this is about freedom you kept from me. The sound of all your loaded gun. This heartbreak war has just begun. The sound of all your loaded gun. This broken man has already won. Oh, my mind clears. Lord, I shed all my tears.